Hello, everyone. Back again. Did a lot. Watched my sister's kids. Got a gym membership. I have a tendency of getting too worked up. Now I'm self-conscious about me reacting to this comment that someone left. I appreciate all of the contributions. Like, I appreciate all the engagement. Even from that guy. But he made a joke about a spirograph, and that's not the first time I've heard that joke, right? And so I replied and said spirographs are for idiots, and now I'm feeling guilty about that because some people don't care about geometry or mathematics, and so what I'll say is that a spirograph is fine. Like, it's all right. Like, if that's all if you're 8 years old and you want to like make a circle, a series of circles, then you can use a spirograph. But I showed my niece and my nephew that are both around 8 years old how to use a compass, and they did it just fine. That thing, it steals something from you, right? I've always considered it cheating. And so I made a diagram. It's right here, right? And so this is what spirographs do. Not this. A spirograph can't do this, right? This is a convocation of 14 circles. Right, this is a metal thing that's on my mother's porch, just beyond the wall. Right, and so you can use it. You can use a spirograph, right? It's this tool that the pencil like locks into, and then you set the diameter, and it makes things like this, right? This is a torus, right? Torus, not Taurus, not like the constellation, right? Torus in physics, right? This is where all the energy radiates out from the geometric center of this, right? That this is a flat, like, cross section. It's like a splice section, right, of a three-dimensional donut that has 14, right? So it's 14 spheres enclosed in a larger sphere, right? And I know that guy's a troll. I know that, like, as soon as I replied, he was like touching himself, like that guy that watches people use the bathroom on South Park. He was like, "Oh yeah, I got him." He disliked the video. Like, that video, that's solid fucking gold on that video, right? These 8 golden mean spirals, right, here behind me. It's not in any of the books. Like that, right? They all derive from a single square, right? Like, there's 4 sides to a square, right? And so you cast the 4 arcs from the square, and that leads to 8 golden mean spirals, because each arc can go in 2 different directions. Right? That's my point. Right? That this is not, man. We're not talking about child's toys here. Right? We're talking about the nature of reality. Right? We're talking about my fucked up relationship with Quentin Tarantino. Right? That's what we're talking about. And in order for people to understand that, we have to talk about everything. Because otherwise, it's nothing, right? I don't fault my family for not understanding. I don't fault them for their ignorance, right? Just like I don't fault that guy for being a horse's ass, right? But what I'm saying is that all of these things that I'm talking about right now, right, are the truth. Like what I've been saying is actually what occurred with the movie Critic. Right? And so I've written a novel, right? We're reading through the novel, we're talking about the nature of reality, right? Sometimes I sing a song, right? Sometimes I recite Shakespeare, because I'm an actor as well as a writer, right? And so what I'll say, right, before I begin reading is that, I'm always looking for the truth. I'm always looking, like, in that still place inside of me to say, oh, what, like what the fuck is happening right now? Like what is occurring in my life, in my mind, in my heart, right? Why does Quentin, right? Like, why is there this woman involved? Like, why is there a fake daughter? Like, like why? Right? Is he just pretending to be a woman, right? Or is there like women in his life that anyone can play these games? Right? This is not, right? It ain't fucking rocket science, right? Right? And while I was at my sister's house earlier, it washed all over me. Like this revelation. I suspect it's the last real revelation. That this is that's why he does it. I see. And perhaps I'll touch on that later. But I'll pick up where I left off. The novel's called Building a Coven. I'll start walking today. I need to find some clothes. Hazel is torn. She wants me to help. I need her to help. She knows they all want her to, and that it has to be her. She can call me, but she knows she doesn't need to because it is me. I considered how I could have told my sister I'm a powerful psychic medium, sometimes called the most powerful. To which someone, Alistair or Clay, it was Alistair, assured me she wouldn't have believed me, but that we all know. To which I reply, I would never describe it in such a way. Nor would your grandfather. And Annabella's father told me, I am with you too, and I know you're suffering. He gives me strength, which is a gift, I know. Around the same time as yesterday, again I thought of that awful song, and Willow began to cry, apologizing, and said, I know how much you've suffered. I don't want you to suffer anymore. I care for you immensely. I love you. All caps with bravura. I want so much to believe her. As I cry, I cannot. Hazel is torn. Though what about I cannot say. She wants to help but cannot decide. Doesn't want to say yes. Doesn't want to tell me no. Bullshit. I have to start walking now. There is a Goodwill store heading that way, 7 hours walking. Angels and ministers of grace, defend us. I've now stopped at Christian Brothers University in the heart of town. 12:48, 12 minutes past perfection. I have been walking 4 hours continuously. I stopped because my shoulders are on fire, and though weary, I know I have to write. Earlier up the parkway, I stopped at the Dollar Tree and purchased a soda and some snacks, as well as another composition notebook. Perhaps I'll make it to New York before this one runs out, but these pages are burning out fast. There's much to say. All 4 hours, constantly bombarded. I also thought much of my sister, who I called before leaving the Greyhound station. I tried to explain to her, and I told her a lot. She did not want to believe it. I don't know what she expects from me, but there is no going back, only forward. And, God save the mark, I hope it is all true, because if not, my madness is immaculate. Alistair assures me he knows how serious I am, and that as soon as he made any moves, I'd be back on the warpath, reminding the world what a wicked sorcerer he is. And so, we're doing it. And that's not why. It's because no one has ever been more deserving, than me, he means, of success. Because I'm so devoted and talented, and I believe my psychic intuition enough to endure these up to 3 weeks of urban hiking. I am listening. And when I get to New York and nothing is real, I'll know definitively I'm strong enough to blow my head off and give them one last mind to read. Screaming to the psychic frontier one last time. Here's a fucking mind. Read that. Bang. Constant duration. And now I'm realizing all these conversations I constantly make up with passing strangers, I always attributed to writers born, which indeed it is, are in fact engagements with the thoughts of those passing by. I hear their thoughts. It is not imagination. It is awareness on the highest level. And in that way, this situation is the same, though I have come into their minds intentionally opposed to haphazardly, as strangers passing in the street. All is well, I am assured that it is real, and I see the amount of people in on it, which is becoming staggering. I know I am not clever enough to imagine all of it. It is exhausting even to consider, though I am an alien, and therefore prone to alien psychologies. I don't like, Willow tells me, the idea of your sister looking me up. She loves reducing people to psychological formulas, but can't stand the thought of the notion being reflected upon her. Perhaps because there is nothing there to analyze. She has no passions, talents, or ambitions. She is a true psychic vampire. She cries out, "Asshole!" Annabella chimes, "Are you not deserving?" Willow replies, I know. I've been so cruel to him. He forgave me and loves me, and I'm ruining it. Hopefully not forever, just for now. But Lisa rules the roost of my heart for now. Thank you, she says, and I offer my welcome in reply. Willow says she'll show me. Time will tell. I have to keep walking. The sun has all but disappeared, and I have bed down in a green alcove beside a Goodwill in Bartlett, Tennessee, heading north out of Memphis. It was a long, arduous walk in both my lives. It was a long and arduous walk in both my lives. In truth, I was plagued by evil. Concerns that all of it is elaborate shadow puppetry, though it seems too sophisticated, too nuanced, too fragile and delicate. But my West Coast father and his family are very powerful. And while Alistair assures me he does not want to ruin my life, if I'm ruining his, who can say what justifies evil? I know I did everything except that one cowardly act, with love in my heart. But if it is a mirror, perhaps now is Alistair's cowardly hour. My body is so weary. I have so much more to say. Willow was all over the place today, in one breath hating me, in the next decrying her sincere love. In truth, I believe nothing, but I'm seeing it through. Hopefully Lisa wants to play Ophelia. Hopefully Hamlet is waiting for me. I am assured all is well, and so I endure. Sometimes, when Annabella calls me honey, I am so enveloped in her love I feel her arms around me, and in so writing I start to cry. I am told she is as well, that they all are. I cannot say I have ever felt that with Willow. It must tell me something. Clay tells me not to worry. Listening to squirrels in heat beyond the pale of my sight makes me worry all the more. Lisa tells me she is there waiting for me, and it feels good, but Willow is very cunning, full of guile and evil. She begs me not to say hateful things about her. She deserves all of my ire. She stole my innocence for nothing beyond boredom, a wicked creature that I loathe to admit I love. I am too tired. I must rest. I'll stop there. So it's a novelization of my experiences with Quentin Tarantino on the psychic frontier, right? We're in the middle of like the pinnacle of the rhapsody now, right? That he led me to believe that Anastasia was interested in putting on Hamlet with his daughter Eliza as Ophelia, right? That I had to get from LA to New York. It was all an elaborate ruse to get me out of town so he could go ha 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 ha, and then I would say, oh my gosh, he's so mean, bang, right? And so why do I say that, right? What I mean is that Quentin and the people around him, right, less so the women in his life, right, but Quentin too, right, that they have engendered a pathological condition in our psyches, right, that we all live as a hive mind where our every thought is filtered through the other, right, that this is not, right, that's not a maybe, right, that's a guarantee, that's what's occurring. Right? So, I suppose I'll stop. There's no need to go on and on. This is what I'll say about it, right? Why did he involve a woman, right? Why did he involve the heart, right? Why did he do these things, right? When he could have just, right, pay me nothing. Right? He has all the money in the world. right? He has everything he could ever want, right? But he didn't have my mind. He has it now. We all have each other's mind, right? That it's a sick condition, right? We're a celestial hive mind right now, all of us, right? Right? He did what he did, right? Because, right? He told me that I should name my novel Building a Coven, right? Because he has a coven of witches, Daniela, and the other one, Badass Cinema, right? Gold skin, great legs, right? And he gets his jollies, right? By putting them on men, right? You keeping up here? And then watching them, right? Remote viewing through the mind's eye. That's why he did it. Right? That Quentin pimps out his wife, right? Pimps out that other girl who's younger, whatever her name may be, right? And says, right? Oh, you're not fucking them, you're fucking me. Right? And then he watches through the mind of the men. That's how he gets his jollies. Right? Which is pretty fucking weird, you ask me. Pretty fucked up, you ask me. Right? But it's the same thing. You understand what I'm saying right now? Right? That they were burying my mind in a bunch of bullshit, right? Like more than anyone else could ever possibly handle, right? Right? Under the, right, assumption that they would get me to put my dick in my hand, right? And they failed, right? And while that's not completely true, right? We're getting there in the novel, right? But it's not true in the way they wanted it to be, right? It's all there in the novel, right? So, right? Quentin says, oh, no, you're not fucking them, you're fucking me. That's, right? And then he watches through their eyes. And what I'll say about that, right, being a savage psychic medium myself, is that if I had done everything that he asked, right, and I was banging it out, right? As soon as I felt him, I would have pulled out and said, "No, this is fucking weird, right? This is fucking weird." But Leo DiCaprio's a fucking jackass, isn't he? Right? That none of these guys, right? That they all submit to him. That's the point, right? Brad Pitt don't know shit about remote viewing, right? So they say, "Oh, okay, sure, yeah." Like, "Oh, she's so fine." God damn, she's so fine. You sure about that, Quentin? Right? And the two of them, right? That it's, right? What's his son's name again? Right? So, right? Is it true? Is it not true? It's definitely true. Right? I'll let someone else ask him. I'll let Scott Feinberg ask him when he gets his Lifetime Achievement Award. Right? Uplift your soul to God. See what's good in your life. Know that life was not an accident, right? Life emerges out of an abstract intellectual principle, right? The dignity of which allows all of manifested life to proliferate and flourish forever. All instances of clairvoyance and psychic phenomenon is the mind of the adept tapping into the non-locality of the conscious field which exists perpetually in a state of rest in every cubic centimeter of space. Right? The highest levels of said expression see the adept behaving like God. Right? So you can heal the sick, right? Right? And you can pimp your wife out to fuck other men while you watch through their eyes. Like, comment, subscribe, share. God bless.